Step off, hoser.
And welcome, everybody, to another wonderful episode of Canuckleheads. 'Twas the week before Christmas, and everyone was a flitter about what Canuckleheads Crumb has been saying on Twitter. How's everybody doing today? Hello, Stacy, Gav, Tom, Blaze, Firestorm, Dawn, Wanderer. See all of you here. Solvis, I see you. I see every one of you today. How y'all doing? How y'all doing today? Morpheus in the chat. Ragnarok Knight, our supreme Knucklehead Ragnarok Knight. Demon Wolf 1991. No, you're chilling. I think that's everybody we got here so far. Blight Blazer. Ew. Get out. Get out. Hello, Edgy Bobby. How you doing? Welcome, everyone. Good to see you all. Holy cow. You know, it was a pretty quiet week. It was a pretty quiet week until things started to happen. Wild, didn't it? Weird how that happens, right? It's like all super quiet, and then Wednesday and Thursday rolls around and everything just starts coming out. Everything just starts rolling out. So we're going to be talking about a few things today. So one topic I wanted to really touch on today. I wanted to talk about consequentialism. That's a big fucking mouthful. I wanted to talk about consequentialism today because I want to get your guys' take on this. I want you folks to understand what consequentialism is and how that relates to utilitarianism. And that's currently what we live in right now is utilitarianism. If people don't know, that's an edict of ethics that the world, society generally lives by. We generally live social media. Largely is governed in utilitarianism. Largely, we're gonna get into that. We're going to talk a bit about that today. We have an update for the Quentin Flynn stalker. She had a hearing. So the stalker's issue like with Quentin Flynn now, because she already got slapped with a protection order. That's already been dealt with. So the interaction between her and Quentin Flynn should be over. Provided there's nothing else that's going on between the two of them. She did, however, have a court hearing. I believe it was on Thursday. It was 2 days ago, so that was Thursday. And so we're gonna give an update about that. Don't have transcripts, no. Just very, very brief update about that, which I'll start with after we get into the show here. And I'll talk about what that means. And yeah, so a brief update about that, and I'm going to talk a bit about the Chris North allegations. We have another scalp that has been claimed. Yet another Me Too story that has come out. So we're going to cover. We're going to read an article. Hello, Ellie. How are you doing? We're going to read an article. Today. A man who is his own lawyer has a fool for a client. Well, luckily she got herself an attorney, which is probably the best idea she's had the entire time. So Chris North, if you don't know Chris North, he was Mr. Big from Sex and the City. So he's had 2 allegations come out. We're going to read an article and we're going to dissect that a little bit. And we're going to talk briefly about the Star Trek Continues drama. You don't know who Chris North is? He's a fairly niche actor, I suppose. Demon Wolf. If you know about Sex and the City, he was one of the main characters that did not have a vagina. Hello, Action Toys. He was one of the main characters that did not have a vagina. He was one of the recurring characters in that show. Yeah, it's ironic because a new Sex and the City production just came up. Yeah, the guy he's from Criminal Intent. Chris Noth, not Chris North. Oh, sorry. Chris Noth, not Chris North. I'm mixing up Nolan North. I'm mixing up Nolan North and Chris Noth. It's the dude from Criminal Intent, the dude from Sex and the City. Sends him an invite to the Star Trek Muppets. Well, I'll talk about that. I will talk about that briefly today as well. Sorry, Tom. Whereas North, not North. Sex and the City and the reasons why ladies are bad shit these days. I mean, it's true. Nolan North is perfectly okay. No, I'm happy to report that Nolan North is enjoying life. I can only assume because nothing has ever been said about him. So he's a pretty cool dude. I swear to God, like if anyone ever says anything terrible about Nolan North, I think that the Earth might split in half. Because I think that there's way too many people that like him. So I don't think he's going anywhere. So we have a few things to talk about today. Aside from the main thing that I want to talk about, which kind of like it's under the umbrella of today's title topic here. Never watched Sex and the City. It's an okay show. It definitely has shaped the 20-something to 30 to mid 30-somethings minds. Mid-20s to mid-30s women probably watched a lot of Sex and the City, and this is where we're getting a lot of this strong independent women nonsense from. Even though they're not really strong independent women, but you know. Watched him in some great roles before he was in Law and Order. Yeah, he was on Law and Order. He was really young in Law and Order, wasn't he? He was like super young in Law and Order, and then he was he on Criminal Intent after that as like an older version of himself? Well, I guess he was older, but Nolan North would be hard to replace. He would be. He's such a utility voice actor. It's crazy. You're in your mid to late 20s. You find that offensive. He did a guest role on A Man Called Hawk. Yeah, I remember him being like super young in one of the Law and Orders. Like he was like fresh faced. It was so crazy. It was so crazy seeing it. Yeah, Sex and the City was a really dumb show. It was funny for the absurdistness of it. Also, a brief aside. I've been playing the South Park Stick of Truth game on Twitch. I want to say that game is the fucking funniest thing I've ever played in my life. Cancel Crumb, exactly, Demon Wolf. Yeah, he was one of the original characters in Law and Order. Yes, he was like I think he was like a young attorney, or he was like a young detective or something like that. Like he was like a rookie, but he was like super fucking young on Law and Order. And then he disappeared, and then he came back for Criminal Intent as the same character, just older, more established. Yeah, I remember him because I watched I watched the fucking shit out of Law and Order. That's great. So. Yeah, a young cop. That's what it was. It was a young cop, and he came back as like a sergeant or something like that. He got promoted. Well, I have the Fractured But Whole. I do. I was looking at it because the Fractured But Whole was on sale for 70% off, so I picked that. Tee. I did, Don Wander. So I picked up that on sale, and I looked up the other one. It was cheap, so I picked them both up. I've been playing through the Stick of Truth, and it's the funniest fucking game I have literally ever played in my life. Now, people who might not understand game stream when, I stream pretty much every day. I stream pretty much every day on Twitch. I did get the Gold Edition Morpheus, yes. I got the Gold Edition and all the DLCs. So, people who don't understand not Star Trek, South Park humor, It's largely because the people that get offended by South Park humor take the fucking show way too seriously. This is what I'm finding out. Because I had a viewer on Twitch that got really, really upset because they didn't like South Park. Apparently, they've never seen South Park. They were a very young viewer. They didn't like South Park. You actually get notifications. Holy shit! Twitch never sends out notifications, Randy. That's wild. Tell us your secrets. So we had a younger viewer that was like really upset that I was playing South Park because they just don't like South Park. And they're like, well, I don't understand why it's funny that the game is making fun of people with diabetes and speech impediments. It's like, they make fun of literally everything. They make fun of every single thing ever. Period. Like, they punch in every direction. They don't give a shit. And it's absurdist comedy. It's absurd to the extent, like, they make fun of things to the maximum extent. Because, like, you can see that for a younger viewer who's never seen South Park before. It's so funny watching, like, the newer generation that gets triggered off of everything watch South Park, because they take it so seriously. That's the only thing I could think of why anyone would get offended by South Park, because it's like, it's meant to be absurd. It's meant to be, like, to the extreme. Just laugh at it. Just laugh at it. It's not meant to be taken seriously. If you're taking it seriously and you're getting offended, I'm Scott Melkelson, I have diabetes. They actually, like, Jimmy oh my god, Jimmy is like fucking perfect in this game. When he's talking, he just gets stuck in a stutter and you have to hold B to skip the scene. It's just, that's the stuff that's like, it's so absurd, it's hilarious. Jimmy the Bard, yeah, where he gets like, this is what I'm saying, okay? This is what I'm saying. It's to a point of absurdity, ad absurdum, whatever Latin thing you want to use on it. Jesus Christ, like, if people take that seriously, like, y'all need to lighten up. You need to lighten up. When they join when Jimmy joins the Crips, and they have, oh my god, because they thought that the group was for cripples. Oh my fucking lord. Oh my god. That was probably my favorite one. But no. But it's just like, when you're watching South Park, you have to realize that the game is like, the series is ridiculous. It's the same thing with Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Aqua Teen Hunger Force and South Park, they are absurdist comedy, which means they go to the extreme. It's not shock comedy. Mimsy. Oh, holy fuck, dude. Oh my god. Difficulty is tied to your avatar's skin color. Fractured butthole. I can't wait to play that one. Like, I saw somebody playing the Fractured Butthole game, and I really liked the battle system on it. I thought that was funny. But this battle system on the Stick of Truth is interesting. I'm getting the hang of it now. But yeah, Sea Lab 2021, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, like all of the Adult Swim shows that were just like absurd. Like, they're not meant to be taken seriously, and people that take them seriously really need to like check themselves, because like, it's not healthy to take the stuff seriously all the time. Oh my god, that was the golden age of comedy. Golden age of comedy. Can I have some change? Anybody have any change? Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, yes. perfect hair forever. Barbara Streisand. Yeah. Spontaneous booty and fractured butthole. I just got to the worst fucking Monka TOS part of the Stick of Truth, by the way. I just got to the part where you see way too much of your parents. Way too much of your parents. And the underwear gnomes. Yeah. I just got to that part. It's 2 days before the day after tomorrow. Oh my god, that's today. The entire series is absolutely absurd. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I enjoy it. I enjoy absurdist comedy. Which is why I am a shit poster on Twitter. I mean, if people haven't figured that out now, I don't know what to tell them. One of the best ways to combat the nonsense in the world is with comedy and making fun of things and mocking things. And it's painful that there are so many people that have such thin skin that a joke can cause them to bleed out from internal wounds. I am, of course, referring to one person on Twitter who really can't get enough of me. Apparently. Really can't get enough. They just have to fucking talk to me. So I don't know if y'all saw it today. I haven't talked about people unless people talk about me or come after me or what have you. Oh my god. You love the underpants gnomes. I talk about people when they do something ridiculous or they come after me for literally nothing, which happens all the time, by the way. I'm just so lovable, Blight Blazer. Just so lovable. So, there's one individual who had recently... I need more clown repellent. I absolutely do. Who had recently made up with Sam Flynn. Made up, right? Everybody knows that these clowns are just putting on a show for the people watching at home. They're not actually over anything. We've seen that with the Vic Mignogna situation. There's people still talking about that 3 years later, which I'm going to talk about just in a moment here. We're going to start. I guess we'll start off with the Vic Mignogna. I guess news. I don't know if it's news, but we'll talk about that briefly. But we know that people don't get over this shit. Like they sit on it forever. They don't exist elsewise. They don't have a life. They don't exist anywhere else but Twitter. They don't exist anywhere else but social media. So last night, folks, I went out to see Spider-Man No Way Home. I went on social media. Well, I went on social media after I got home from the movies. I didn't literally touch my computer yesterday until I got home from the movie because I didn't want to get spoilers. I didn't want to have spoilers for Spider-Man, so I stayed away from social media as much as possible. Because once the movie hit theaters, I think in Wednesday or Thursday, I think it was Thursday, like people started seeing it. I didn't fucking look at Twitter. I didn't fucking look at Facebook. I didn't look at anything because I knew people were just going to be blasting spoilers out everywhere. So I didn't touch social media for like 2 days because I had tickets on Friday to see Spider-Man. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go watch Spider-Man and then I'm going to, do my thing. So I come home. As soon as I go out, I'm tweeting about how great Spider-Man was. I know, I actually saw a movie. It's crazy. I went to a theater. There's people there. It was insane. Spider-Man was so good. Guys, if you've not seen Spider-Man Far From Home, This is literally like the best superhero movie, the best comic book movie, the best Spider-Man movie they have ever made. I went into it. Hello, Phoenix Aurum. Welcome. Tetsuo. I went into it with high expectations because of all the hype that I heard. And it blew my expectations out of the water. All right. So it was a very, very, very good movie. Very good movie. Anyway. So I get out of the movie and I was going to go tweet about how great it was, you know, so like I was going on my socials saying like, go out and see Spider-Man. It's a great movie, blah, 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 blah. Your interest with the MCU ended with Endgame. I would suggest watching Spider-Man Far From Home and then watching Spider-Man and then go from there. Because like, honestly, Tom, Far From Home did an amazing job of reigniting my interest in the MCU. And then No Way Home just was a slam fucking dunk. It was a slam dunk. Yeah, you need to see Far From Home to get the context for No Way Home, though. Absolutely need to do that, though. But basically, Far From Home takes place immediately after, or, you know, No Way Home takes place immediately after Far From Home. Like, it's literally one seamless movie. It's just, boom, streamlined. So Canada's relationship is just Japan and Canada yelling at each other. It's very true. It's very true. This one was made by Sony. Yes. Yeah. No, Jake Gyllenhaal was really, really good in Far From Home. Mysterio was fantastic. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. The Spider-Man movies have been fucking incredible, and I really hope that they continue doing what they're doing. That's all I'm going to say about that. You hate saying that because Spider-Man... Tom, you have to watch the new Spider-Man movies. You're doing yourself a disservice. I'm telling you right now. They are the best movies out of the entire MCU. Like, No Way Home is literally arguably better than Infinity War. It is arguably better than Infinity War. I will say that, so... Yeah, it was... the audience in my theater were literally fucking screaming. They were screaming. Like every hit, like every pop on the fucking movie, people were applauding. They were like shouting. They were losing their fucking minds. Like people were into this. Been following Dexter New Blood or Blade Runner at Black Lotus? No, I have not. Yeah, the film is top notch. All the hype on the internet is not doing it any fucking justice for how good the movie is, and that's saying a lot. Like this film is in a category of its own. It is very, 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 very good. And I don't say that lightly. So. Damn right, Gab. We are always right, and that's why people hate us. So getting back to what I was sidetracked from. So I get out of Spider-Man, and I am about to type like the biggest tweet of my life, being like, "Go and see Spider-Man. This is the best fucking movie I've ever seen in my life." And then I see that I see people messaging me because there is a very lonely person on Twitter that is talking about me. Shocking, I know. Shocking. So a very lonely person on Twitter is apparently trying to slam dunk on me because I've been awfully quiet. Somebody's been awfully quiet on Twitter. Yeah. Yeah, I have been, because I've been watching a fucking movie. Because I don't leave Ricky Berwick alone. He doesn't like me, Phoenix. That's okay. I'm not heartbroken. I mean, it's not like he can walk to my house and beat me up, so it is what it is. Food for thought. Does that crazy clown beat their meat to their tweets? I mean, I guess so. I think they might. mean, like, Phoenix, I'm not worried because my house has stairs to get to it. This is coming from someone who bases her whole identity on being a fictitious victim. It legit makes me sad. Well, that's what I'm saying. So she spends her entire life on Twitter, right? Picked fights with Sam, is trying to pick a fight with me because I am now the big bad, right? He doesn't like you either. He has a van now. Well, look out. I mean, he still can't get to me. My stairs would not accommodate a van, so here's the funny part. She's trying to insinuate that I'm disappointed somehow because of the criminal hearing that her bestie friend is showing up to on Thursday. Well, this past Thursday. I guess I'll talk about that now. So Quentin Flynn's stalker had a criminal hearing on Thursday. She's charged Class A misdemeanor. It is a criminal felony charge. Class A misdemeanor for invasion of privacy. She violated a protection order. Lives in a van down by the river. I mean, technically, yes. He does have a van down by the river because he lives by the Grand River. But I digress. So, Quentin Flynn's stalker had a hearing for her criminal charge on Thursday. And much to nobody's surprise at all, because she actually has an attorney now. This is something that people that aren't attorneys probably wouldn't even think of. I didn't even think of it until I heard. I assumed that she was going to be pleading out, right? She's going to be pleading to a lesser charge. This is what I expect of this to happen, by the way. I expect her to be pleading to no contest to a lesser charge and basically getting probation and no jail time, because she would be getting, I think, about 3 years in jail for her current violation. Either that, or she'd be pleading to a lesser charge and in lieu of jail time going through some sort of rehabilitation program thing. Hello, Miguel C. This is what I would understand what would probably be happening, right? Because she's not all here. So I had assumed this is probably what was going to happen. So they waived the initial hearing. Her attorney requested that the initial hearing be waived. That was the first one months ago. This one, they had the hearing. It was a very short hearing, and they granted a continuance. So they requested a continuance, and they granted it. So that is going to be a continuance until March 3rd. No, she might be too dumb to plead out, Tom, but I don't think her attorney is. You're done with school and you're glad to tune in now that you're kind of caught up. Let's go, Miguel. Congratulations. Congratulations, a huge milestone. So my initial thoughts were that she was going to plead. 100% makes sense that her attorney is asking for a continuance over the Christmas holiday. Because there's no point in having a bunch of fucking work to go over the Christmas holiday and then over New Year's and whatever else. So they have a continuance until March 3rd. Totally makes sense. This is not, as far as I'm understanding, there was no request for a dismissal. There was no request for like anything like that. That she understands, that she has gone on record saying she understands the charge, that she agrees with the charge, apparently, that there is no misunderstanding or there's no misrepresentation of the charge. This first hearing as a continuance There is no request for dismissal. Everything in this is like this is just me as a layperson with a fraction of knowledge of law. Okay, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a Nick Rekieta. I'm not anyone who actually has credentials behind my name in American law, which is where this is. I am just going based on what I can see. This appears as though her lawyer wants time to negotiate a deal with the prosecution so that she can see no jail time, first of all. But she's probably going to get probation, and she's probably going to get mandated to go to some sort of rehabilitation thing, or she has to go and and participate and blah, 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 blah. That would be my guess. That would be my guess. She's probably still going to have it on her record, but it will likely be not a misdemeanor. It would likely not be a felony charge, which I'm hoping that she learns the lesson from this to not be an idiot in the future. And if anyone out there that is watching this or listening to this, if anyone out there thinks that it disappoints me that she didn't get thrown in jail, you're an idiot. The entire point of the justice system is to rehabilitate and be a preventative measure. And what's the word? Like, it's you'd send her to jail. Reprimand. Reprimand is the word. Reprimand to make fucking sure that you don't do the same stupid thing more than once in a row. Right? Could it be she winds up in a low security prison too, like Martha Stewart? I don't think she's going to jail over it, honestly. I don't think she's going to jail because I think that she's going to, if it does end up by some miraculous way of going to jail, I think her defense is mental incompetence. I think her defense is insanity, and very much like Abel, people who know Abel. Who had a felony charge and who got it guilty, but not guilty by reason of mental incompetence. I think that's very much her defense in this situation. I think she's going to, if it does go to trial, which I don't believe it will, I think her defense would be that she was mentally incapable of making proper decisions. I think that's her only defense in this situation. And I think that the prosecution knows that. I think the defense knows that. And I think they're working out something. Like, she's not going to learn from it, obviously, because apparently immediately after her continuance got granted, she acted like she won the Super Bowl and told all of her friends that, now she can sleep soundly and blah, 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 blah. I don't know if I would sleep soundly knowing I have a continuance and likely that I'm going to be catching some sort of a charge and paying a lawyer for all of this stuff. And what I don't know. I don't know about that. For something that I literally shouldn't have even done in the first place. Don't know if I'd be celebrating that, but I do know, I do see a trend. I do see a trend in her behaviors that suggests that she masks anxiety and stress by going out and drinking alcohol to excess. Yeah, she's going to Disney World. Yeah, she's going to Disney World. So she is the literal living epitome of the Wojak, right? The Wojak with like the happy face mask and just like screaming and crying behind it. Yeah, she's the living epitome of that. If you want to tell when she's stressed out, much like Ron Toye, you want to tell when Ron Toye is stressed out when he uses emojis. She's stressed out when she starts drinking to excess, and heavily telling everybody, "I'm totally fine. I'm totally okay. I'm sleeping perfectly good." Ha 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 ha. Yeah, so that's a pattern I've seen in her behavior. And there you go. I mean, something she's got to fix. It's not my problem. It's not Quentin's problem. It's not Sam's problem. It's not any of your problems. It's her problem, and it's her friends that don't pick up on this. I'm a perfect fucking stranger and I can pick up on it. If your friends can't pick up on it and be worried and be there and help you change the self-destructive behavior, maybe they're not your friends. Maybe they're not your friends. Just saying. If your friends are there enabling you to do self-destructive habits such as that, you're probably going to see a grave quicker than you're going to see a jail cell. I will say that. Well, I agree, Stacy. I agree, Stacy. And yeah, maximum 3 years, Phoenix, is the punishment. I would say realistically, if she ever did see jail, probably less than 6 months, 6 to 8 months. She wasn't. While she was crazy stalker, she wasn't to the point of Lizzie Borden stalker. So, no, 100% she's gonna aim. That's what I'm saying. If a perfect stranger can pick this up about this based on very little information and be accurate about it, which I'm fairly certain I am, which is why I'm pissing a lot of people off on Twitter, then yeah, she's got some problems that she needs to deal with. As for my little friend who thinks that I am terminally online and I just spew poison, apparently all I do every waking moment of my life, folks. I don't. It's news to me. Apparently, all I do every waking moment of my life is spew poison and vitriol on Twitter. I mean, if those are the only tweets you look at, I guess that's how you could get to that conclusion, if that's all you're looking for. But there's more to me than that. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. But hey, keep on with that confirmation bias there, chickie. Looks real good on you. I am a menace. The crumb menace. Selective thinking from these people. It's just what they see, what they want to see, Miguel. They search out what they want to search out. They look at what they want to look at, and then they act like it's the only thing that exists when they're looking literally at the narrowest of margins. Yeah, Ellie, like, this is the thing. I can put aside my disdain for these individuals, and be concerned, but I also know that this is their choosing. This is what they want. So it's a very much interesting case to look at, but it's more of a, can't fix it. Unfortunately, can't fix it. No, it's not Canada, but you think she would be placed in a psychiatric hospital? Something you've learned way too much from hours of listening to my podcast is that stalkers. Yes, I do think so. I know what you're going for, Phoenix. I do think so. I think she would be placed in some sort of psychiatric program. Don't get rehabbed in jail. No, 100%. I fully believe that March 3rd, between now and March 3rd, her attorney's probably going to come up with some sort of plea agreement with the prosecution that would potentially mandate her to go in some psychiatric program. Because she has said multiple times that she's not stable, that she cannot function, blah, 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 blah. She said this. She's admitted this multiple times. Can't fix what's already beyond repair. You can't fix what people don't want to be fixed. They want to be broken. They want this. So, hello, Zero. How you doing? So, yeah. That is the brief update I have there. So mark your calendars, March 3rd. We might hear something sooner between then and whatever, but I doubt it. Knowing how lawyers work, they love to have as much time as they possibly can. I would assume on March 3rd they're going to ask for another continuance. If it's denied, then I would assume that they're going to put in a plea motion for no contest for a lesser charge, so she can avoid a felony. That would be my absolute bare bones knowledge of how criminal defense works. That would be my guess. Again, the criminal defense lawyer that she has, it's his job to do the absolute most for his client, right? And so giving her and getting as much time as possible to formulate a defense for her, and keeping her out of jail for as long as possible is his job. That's what he is supposed to do. So I'm assuming he's going to ask for continuances until the judge tells him no. And then once he gets a no on the continuances, I'm assuming they're going to enter a plea deal. That's what I would guess is going to happen, which is probably going to keep her out of jail for quite a long time, which I don't care. The fact of the matter is, she has this hanging over her head. She might not make it to March 3rd. Who knows? The way that she's acting, the way that she's living, clearly, she needs to get some help, and she's ignored she's ignored a lot of assistance. I just hope that she gets the help that she needs. Crazy people love their continuances. Look at what's happening with Chris Chan and the incest church. That's what I'm saying. But the whole thing is like, the court doesn't want to deal with crazy. Court doesn't want to fucking deal with crazy shit. They want to deal with easy things that they can, feel good about. So they'll be happy to give continuances for as long as they need to. But no, for the people online that are trying to start fights and that are trying to, fine, I'm perfectly okay. I will respond to you on my bathroom breaks like I normally do. You deserve as much time as it takes for me to squeeze out a poop. So there you go. That's about as much time as I give you in a day. Any news on Chris Chan? I don't think so. I think the continuance was like not until next year or something like that. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, exactly. There was at least 6 continuances just to tell him to go to therapy. So I'm assuming that there's going to be more continuances. I'm assuming that March 3rd is going to be another continuance until the judge tells them no. Isn't dealing with crazy supposed to be their job? It's supposed to be. Don't happen that often, though. Don't happen that often, though. So yeah. As for the poison and vitriol, I post bunnies too, by the way. If you're calling bunnies evil, then you have a bigger problem than me. You have a bigger problem in life than myself. So that's all I gotta say about that. And oop. Yeah, so that's what I gotta say about that. How much will you bet they blame Quentin like her crazy is his fault? Well, she was crazy before him, so prolonging it to exhaustion of resources. Well, this is the thing. It's like how long? I mean, if she's paying for the lawyer, how long can she afford to pay for the lawyer? First of all, and yeah, I'm so evil. I'm so evil, but So yeah, it was exactly, and the funny part is, folks, if you and your Twitter friends are staging your criminal defense, I really hope this isn't the case. If you and your Twitter friends are staging your criminal defense against somebody on Twitter and getting your victory condition, not as getting an acquittal, but your victory condition is starving someone on Twitter and YouTube of information or making us look wrong for some. I don't know what your victory condition is. If that's your victory condition, you have bigger problems than me that you need to deal with, that you should be focusing on. You shouldn't be focusing on what my opinion is of your criminal case. You read my Twitter just for the pitchforks, torches, and rabbling. I think most people do now. Which is perfectly okay. I'm perfectly fine. Speaking of rabble, I want to show you guys a fucking DM I got. We're gonna talk about the Chris Noth stuff here in just a little while. But this is an example of the shit that I get in my inbox. Is this the right image? Yes, it is. This is an example of the shit that I get in my inbox, by the way. So, accelerationism liker, Dicker Daughter, what a great name for this individual. I have no idea who this person is. They don't follow anybody that I follow. I have no idea who this person is. This is in retort to me posting the article that I'm going to cover later, and saying that this article was it was really fucking weirdly worded, and raising questions about the Me Too allegations that are inside the article. So this person, let me just put this out there. I don't have an opinion one way or the other on Chris Noth because I haven't looked fully into everything yet. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. The allegations are weird. Chris Noth has come out and denied them vehemently. So I have to look into more of it. But when we have media pushing a narrative, that tends to push me to the side of the accused, not the accusers. Right? So we get this person with their hot take here. Sorry, buddy. Learn who Kim Masters is. Every single story she reports on has been true. Not fucked up. This woman is the Einstein of reporting on sexual assault. Nas already lost his agent and a few jobs. It's over. Time's up. Cry harder. Okay. This is already telling me, like, Chris Noth is probably innocent because it has psychopaths like this one running to literally anybody at all on Twitter, sending them just throwing a fucking turd at their inbox and then blocking them. Someone really spent their time writing this. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So we're gonna thank you for the $10 super chat, Phoenix Arm. What did Adam say to Eve on December 24th? It's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve. The Phoenix has risen. Godspeed. Tip your waitress. I'm friends with their dad. Thank you so much for the $10 Canadian dollary-do donation there. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. It was this was like a $7.78 US dollar because we have monopoly money here in Canada. Or maybe it was 7 cents US. Like $10 Canadian. But yeah, someone literally took the time to send this to me from a protected account that blocked me immediately after. Okay. We're gonna read over the article. Lackluster preacher voice. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, in preacher voice. Hold on. The Phoenix has risen. Ooh. Is that one better? I didn't realize that was a quote that you wanted me to. Hate to ask, but can the GoFundMe get a signal boost tonight on tonight's show? I can try. You can send a DM to one of the mods. They can post the link for you. I make such great friends. Blazer. Okay, buddy. I'm not your buddy, pal. I'm not your pal, friend. Sorry, buddy. I wanted to fucking reply to that, and I couldn't. My reply to this tweet, let me put it on record, would be, I'm not your buddy, pal. That would be it. That's all I would reply to this person, but I couldn't because they blocked me. So, unfortunate. So we're going to read over the article here in just a little bit. But first, I want to go over this Star Trek Continues bullshit first. That's not how we speak, buddy. Be a better friend, guy. Right. I want to go over this bullshit with Star Trek Continues really briefly, because I want to kind of tear them apart a little bit. Let me send this message and then block, because I'm so cool. Exactly, right? Jesus Christ, dude. All right. Let's do that one. I think it's this here. I'm not your buddy, friend. There we go. So everyone's seen this stupidity right here. Everyone's seen this stupidity already. I'm going to break this down. I'm going to break this down and tell you exactly why this is dumb. We're going to cut out a lot of the garbage that is on here. So, several years ago, we were recruited to work on the Star Trek Continues fan web series. So, to preface this, there's a bunch of people on the Star Trek Continues have been working behind the scenes with people in law Twitter, apparently, in a group of people who don't like Vic. These people are friends with Michelle Specht. I will say, I tried to reach out to some individuals whom I found, I tried to reach out to people. Let me just preface this. I looked up everybody on the list to see who had reposted this. There was 2 people who did not repost it at the time that I checked. One of them actually had contact information that I could find. The other person just apparently doesn't exist anymore. So I reached out to somebody and asked, number 1, did you actually agree to this, and did you actually contribute to this? If you did, do you have a statement regarding it, or do you have any stories or anything else like that? Because apparently people had stories about stuff happening, or maybe they didn't. So I want to, and to this day right now, I have not got a reply back from anyone who I had reached out to. So, I remember. So several years ago, we were contacted to blah 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 blah. For some, it was a one-off situation. For others, we wound up dedicating our time for a number of years. For all of us, it was a true labor of love. So why are you writing this? Why are you writing this now, 3 years after allegations had come out? You always see my head open sideways when I talk. This particular project ended in 2017. It's not our identity. Bullshit. It's not your identity. It's just all you people are known for, and all you ever continue pushing and show up at conventions for. It's literally the only thing Michelle Specht has ever been credited to be at a convention for, ever. You want to tell me it's not your identity? You make it your identity. You make it your identity. You go to conventions, you brag to people, you talk about it, you siphon off of every fucking famous person. It is your identity. You're fucking literally writing a letter about it right now. Don't fucking lie. Problem number 1, the first lie. The first lie is, this is the first issue with this letter so far. We've moved forward with our careers and lives. Second lie. You have not moved forward with your careers and lives. This is why you're writing this letter. Because you want to be relevant. People who are relevant don't participate in this type of tomfoolery. She did some voice work for a Star Trek game too because of her involvement in this. Star Trek Continues. Every doorway that opened for them was because of Star Trek Continues. Make no mistake. They used that as leverage to get literally anywhere, and they're all stagnant. They're all freelance, by the way. All the people that are in that list, none of them are working, apparently. They're all freelance. At least that's what LinkedIn says. Hello, Stan. Welcome. Finally home from work? Welcome, Stan. We'll always be proud of the work we helped create. Oh, that's true. You're proud of it because you tell everyone, literally all the time, even when people don't ask you. Someone mentioned Vic got her out of legal trouble. Yep. Recent events have compelled us to clarify our position regarding certain accusations against and the continued fan base unrest surrounding the series' executive producer and lead actor. Literally nobody asked you. Literally nobody asked you. You know what the first thing was when people came out and started shitting on Amy Imhoff? You know what the first question in people's minds were? I can tell you right now, it wasn't what do the people of Star Trek, what do the staff and the actors of Star Trek continues think of this? Nobody asked that question. Survey says, Nobody asked that. Nobody asked your opinion. Nobody cares about your opinion. Hello, Awig. How you doing? New phone, who dis? Nobody asked your opinion. Nobody cares about your opinion. It's the way it goes. But you felt you had to step in there and just shove your opinion in there without asking and without asking for consent. That was your question when you saw. Where's the Price is Right loser sound when you need it? Right, like seriously though. I need a soundboard. I need a soundboard. So nobody asked. You know the first question people asked? Who the fuck is Amy Imhoff? Number one answer. Ding. That's the number one answer. So for folks out there, Amy was the person that reached out to Los Angeles Comic-Con or Comic-Con LA, whatever the hell they want to call themselves, and got Vic barred from entering the convention for doing something that 4 or 5 other voice actors were doing. I know on my last video, people were, well, there's one person that was like, actually, the other voice actors, they were guests. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. They were not announced guests. They were not officially guests of the convention. They just showed up at a table by invite by a vendor. And they were allowed to be there, and Vic wasn't, even though he went through the same process they did. Oh, she harassed creation as well? Really? I'd love to hear details about that, Stan. I'd love to see details about that. So, yeah. These people don't have anything of relevance. This is what they're relevant for. They're relevant for being piles of garbage. So, all of us strongly and unequivocally condemn any harassment or inappropriate behavior, particularly directed against women, which occurred. Okay, so this part right here. Nazis are bad. Right? Murder is bad. Nazis are terrible evil. Yes. Standing ovation. Oh, probably. I know she's very likely connected with Emmanuel Pantless. Creation Entertainment. I'm pretty sure that was wasn't that the group that ran the Star Trek convention? Something like that. Anyway. Yes, let me pick something that is universally heinous and condemn it. And then get a standing ovation because nobody at all condemns harassment or inappropriate behavior. Wow. You are part of the majority. Congratulations. Which occurred either outside the confines or outside the confines of the production or within it. So this is an interesting part that I'm curious as to who put this in here and if people actually read this. Because the insinuation here, there's no statement that anything ever happened. Nothing. Okay, first of all, nothing ever happened at Star Trek Continues. Outside of Michelle sleeping around with the cast. Let's make that very clear. Let's make that very clear. Nothing happened at Star Trek Continues. Because that would have been the first thing to come out years ago. So to say, oh, this ambiguous fucking statement. Yeah, I'm announcing that dying is bad. Dying is terrible and it hurts everybody. To make an ambiguous statement that's saying it's like, either outside or inside the confines, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. And you guys should not have even been publishing this based on that alone. Because you're making a moving target. And this is straight out of the How to Destroy a Man Now handbook, by the way. This is straight out of the handbook. If you have not already watched that episode where I covered that and I read the handbook, y'all should go check that out. Such conduct is wholly contrary to our values and should never be tolerated under any circumstances. Again, Nazis are bad. I mean, congratulations, yes. I would be concerned if harassment and inappropriate behavior was in your values, which it was actually. I mean, you're harassing people right now, and inappropriate behavior. Maybe y'all should check Michelle's body count on your production before you start throwing stones at Vic Mignogna, because y'all let that happen, and you're friends with her, so. Maybe, just maybe. So although we only learned of such allegations long after our association as coworkers ended, so then why are you talking about it now? There's no allegations, period. The only allegations that you're finding out are the ones that were fabricated by Funimation and There Within. Because all of the allegations came from one person. They all came from Monica Rial. And Monica brought 3 allegations to Funimation, 2 of which were not involving her whatsoever, one of which she didn't actually have permission to share. She didn't actually get permission from the person to share her story. I mean, I don't know, Tom. I have no idea. They possibly had an open relationship. The fact of the matter is, if inappropriate behavior is sleeping with your coworkers, well, I have bad news for Michelle supporters. The series cast and crew members had gone their separate ways. We recognize that we have an ethical responsibility to use your voice as platforms and privilege to support those who. Why? And this is the biggest run-on sentence, by the way. Who said that you have an obligation? You did. Literally nobody at all. Literally no one at fucking all is saying, what did Star Trek Continues think? Literally nobody. No media outlets, no authorities, nobody at all is saying, oh, well, you're not even a fucking organization anymore. You're not even active anymore. You haven't been since 2017. So why do you think that you have some fucking moral responsibility, that you have some ethical obligation to make a comment on it? You don't have platforms, by the way. Out of everybody on this list, Only one person got triple digits in interactions. Everyone else got single. If that. Of the people who shared this stupid statement, only one person, and that was the person that was famous before this project, by the way. Only the person that was famous before this project, independently of this project, got triple-digit interactions on this post. Everyone else got 0 to 9. Think about that for a minute. What fucking platform? What platform? What voice? What privilege? No one's listening to you, but you want them to. This is about your ego, and this is about you. This isn't about whatever thing you're claiming it to be. No, Grant would not sign something this stupid. The man's smarter than everyone on that fucking list combined. There's no way he would sign something as stupid as this. And we furthermore, we denounce the actions of members of the public who attack, harass, or even dox those who've had the courage to tell their stories. For those as well as those who've expressed support for them. Again, Nazis are bad. Oh, do they stand? Shake my head. Finally, we sympathize with those who've been afraid to come forward and will respect the confidence of anyone who may choose to speak up privately. Again, who will go to you? Why are you making yourselves these pariahs? Like, why are you making yourselves like these paragons of fucking virtue that people can go to you to share their stories? Who the fuck are you? You're a bunch of fucking nobodies. You're not the police. You're not the courts. You're not an authority. You're not literally fucking anyone at all. You're just a bunch of fucking whisper network group rumor mongering fuckwits. Stay in your fucking lane. Who the fuck are any of you? You work for the fucking New York Times? Are you going to write a fucking article about it? No, you're not. So shut your stupid mouth. Why would anyone at all go to anybody on that fucking list and tell them deep personal things about their life? You're not a fucking priest. You're not a counselor. You're not a therapist. You're not literally anybody. You're disgusting. You're disgusting because you want information. You want the dirt. You want the tea. Because you want the fucking clout. Fucking get out of here. Get out of here. If anyone needs an ear, we'll continue to listen. You've never listened. You only listen to the things that confirm your own bias. You only want information that will help you. What have you done to help anybody at all? You didn't listen for 3 years, apparently. You didn't listen for 20 years. What makes people think you're going to listen now? Hello, Mecha J. How you doing? Oh yeah, they're all cowards. They're all cowards. And like this entire letter says absolutely nothing except we want to hear all of your information so that we can go and throw dirt on people. Don't talk to these people. If you have a story, find a fucking journalist. Find someone with credentials. Find a fucking therapist. Find a priest. Find a police officer. Don't talk to these fucking random nobodies who are going to turn your story into a fucking Reddit post in 10 years. Don't talk to these people. They're literal fucking nobodies who want to be somebody, who are attacking a person who created careers for them, which they failed. They're all begging for jobs right now. I don't think a single one of them is actually employed. They all have freelance positions right now. I would be curious to see how many people on that list actually read and actually contributed to this letter. And how many people actually agree with it. I mean, if it took them like 3 years to write this letter, they probably need to find a new line of work. I mean, I hear Walmart's hiring, so they repeat the stories before so they can be sued. You can't squeeze blood from a stone. So I'm saying if they're worried about being sued, they have no money, so they could freely open their stupid mouth. But yeah, really nice of Amy Imhoff to give first and last names of literally everyone who spoke up about this, allegedly. We don't have signatures, right? So we don't know if they actually read this or if they just have their name included on it. We have a few of them, all but 2 of them, sharing them on social media, likely because they were asked to. Hey, Joe Dirt, do I have to be a somebody or YouTuber to ever guest on my program? No. If you have a topic to talk about or whatever, you're free to come on. I also have days where I have call-in shows where literally anyone can just call in. So, but no, you don't have to be a somebody as long as it's something interesting that we can talk about. I'll have anybody on, literally. The only going when they were told they admitted in the document just means that it wasn't an issue back then. Yeah, it wasn't. Which that's going to be a very interesting thing too. I'm going to show you guys something. I'm going to show you guys something here in a little bit. So the title topic of today's show, consequentialism, is a term that I want you folks to kind of look at and read up on. I'm gonna link something here. I'm gonna link it's from the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. This is consequentialism. This is a very, very interesting document. It's very, very long and very, very boring, but if you guys want to read it, go for it. But consequentialism is the basis of ethics that instead that quick response is always no problem, Joe Dirt. It bases morality not on the actions, but the consequences of the actions. So, is it moral to gun somebody down? If you ask most people, you'll say, well, no, it's wrong to kill people, right? But what if what if removing that person from life meant that you saved countless other lives because that person was X, Y, or Z, right? Or that person turned out to be con, right? It's consequentialism as a part of utilitarianism. AFK, no problem, Tom. As part of utilitarianism, is a thought process that we see a lot in modern society. Consequentialism is very, very much boiled down on social media. The trolley problem, very much so. Very much so. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this before we get into the article that I'm going to read and review over here. But consequentialism you see it all the time. It's the end justifies the means, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that we did like illegal things to Vic, right? It doesn't matter that we contacted a convention to get him canceled and blah, 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 blah. Ultimately, him not being there means that from a greater moral standpoint, that victims are saved because he's not there, right? That's the thought process behind this. This is how they're justifying. This is how people who are attacking Vic and attacking people like Quentin, attacking people like Chris Noth, etc., they justify this. It's the whole Minority Report thing, right? How can we prevent crime from it happening before it happens? Well, we believe that something is going to happen, so therefore we're going to take any means necessary of stopping that thing, because the consequence of that thing happening would be catastrophic in their minds. Heaven forbid someone has a life and moves on. Exactly. So I want you guys to look up the term consequentialism and utilitarianism, because this is very much where our society is right now. And if people are wondering what the fucking logic is behind this, this is what we're dealing with. Because consequentialism and utilitarianism, they are counter to justice. They are counter to facts. I want to bring up another thing here. Let's see. U1. This is from Wikipedia, but this is sourced from some other actual reputable source, so this is why I'm using it. Utility ignores justice, right? Claiming that act utilitarians are not concerned with having rules set up as a straw man, blah blah blah. This is referring to other sources. It would be a serious misrepresentation to say that he and similar acts, utilitarians, would be prepared to punish an innocent person for the greater good. Nevertheless, whether they would agree or not, this is what critics of utilitarianism claim is entailed by theory. So there are two scenarios here, because a lot of people claim that utilitarianism ignores justice because it does things for the greater good, right? How dare you demand I expand my vocabulary? So there's the sheriff scenario of utilitarianism. So suppose that a sheriff was... The reason I wanted to share this was because this is going to sound... This was a scenario given in 1957. We're going to read this, and you're going to see that the parallels between this scenario and things that have recently happened, which is why I wanted to include this in today's show. Suppose that a sheriff were faced with a choice of either framing a person of color for an act of violence that had aroused hostility to the Black Lives Matter community, let's just say, a particular person of color generally being believed to be guilty, but whom the sheriff knows not to be guilty, and thus preventing serious anti-BLM riots, anti-BLM riots, which would probably lead, well, I guess we should say, which would prevent serious, mostly peaceful protests that would probably lead to some loss of life and increased hatred of each other by people involved. Or of hunting the guilty person and thereby allowing the mostly peaceful protests to occur while doing the best he can to combat them. In such a case, the sheriff were an extreme utilitarian, he would appear to be committed to framing the person of color. This is a good read for pooping time. Exactly, Ellie. Exactly, Ellie. So he suggests on one response that the sheriff would not frame the innocent person because of another rule: do not punish an innocent person. Another response might be that the riots the sheriff is trying to avoid, mostly peaceful protests that the sheriff is trying to avoid, might have positive utility in the long run by drawing attention to questions of race and resources to help address tensions between the communities. Isn't this poignant for today's society, right? It's very, very interesting. I want you guys to digest this a little bit here. So it's the thought of, do you prosecute an innocent person, Kyle Rittenhouse, for an action taken because people on the BLM side of things are crying for a body, like they want a scalp? So do you prosecute Kyle Rittenhouse to appease the BLMs, or do you not prosecute the innocent person and allow the riots to happen? Because the riots occurring would then raise important questions about addressing tensions between the communities. So people would say that, you know, the greater good, you sacrifice the small to save the greater. So isn't this interesting here? The parallels between the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, the utilitarian side of things wants to prosecute Kyle because sacrificing Kyle Rittenhouse would appease a mob and it would stop the greater damage, right? So that's a utilitarian point of view on the situation. Whereas there's another side of the utilitarian point of view where it's like, well, actually, if the riots take place, that will actually create a dialogue that would be more beneficial than if we just prosecute the innocent person. So this is where we're sitting at in today's society, because there's two thoughts here. You found rooftop Koreans to prevent riots. Call everyone to a town meeting, lock the doors and set the place on fire. I mean, that would work in some places, not all. It's generally frowned upon, though. Generally frowned upon. So surely the utilitarian must admit that whatever facts there may be, it is logically possible that an unjust system of collecting collective punishments, retroactive laws, and punishments of the parents and relations to the offender may be more useful than a just system of punishment. Is this not what we're dealing with today? So the argument here is that utilitarian, quote unquote, justice. Have a good one, Gav. Take care. Have a good Christmas. We don't see you next week. Is it not poignant today, where we have people arguing that the current justice system is not working, that they want to replace it by applying retroactive punishments, retroactive laws and punishments? They want to punish the parents of the offender. They want to process collective punishments against people, right? It's very interesting to see, because this is something we're seeing in modern day. This is something we're seeing in modern day that's argued a lot. And then there's the brothers Karamazov. So an older form of this argument was presented, yada yada yada. So they say, tell me straight out, I call you on. So these are arguments against utilitarianism. Tell me straight, I call on you. Answer me. Imagine that you yourself are building the edifice of human destiny with the object of making people happy in the finale. of giving them peace and rest at last. But for that, you must inevitably and unavoidably torture just one tiny creature, one child, and raise your edifice on the foundation of her unrequited tears. Would you agree to be the architect on such conditions? And can you admit that the idea of people for whom you are building would agree to accept the happiness on unjustified blood of a tortured child and having to accept it to remain happy forever? Isn't that powerful? Isn't that interesting? Because we see this too. We see this in the family court system. Because the utilitarianism, the consequentialism argument would be the suffering of one is justified if it benefits the whole, right? If it benefits many. So logically speaking, if only one has to suffer for everyone at all period to be happy forever, then it would be worth it, right? But this in here is asking you from a morality perspective, if everybody knew that their happiness came from you torturing unjustified blood of a tortured child, could they accept that, and could they remain happy forever knowing that that's where their happiness came from? It's a very powerful argument. It's a very powerful question. And that's what you got to ask yourself, right? That's what we got to ask ourselves when we're looking into this. Do we justify our actions by the suffering of others? It's easy for people to go in. It's easy. I'll get rid of this picture here. It's easy for people to go in on someone who's like 50 or 60, especially if it's like an older, successful man, right? It's really easy for that. But let's take that situation. Would these same individuals find it acceptable to destroy an innocent child? I mean, some people might agree. We've seen the Sophie Long case, right? Is it acceptable to destroy an individual for the greater perceived good of the whole? And in doing so, can you truly be happy with yourself and with the situation afterwards? If your happiness, if your success, if your situation, right? If your entire career was built on the blood of someone who was innocent, is built on the destruction of someone, how can you be happy with that? How can you live with that on your conscience? If Grindelwald can do it, so can I. Damn it, Morpheus. So it's a very interesting concept. I'm not going to say whether it's right or wrong, because I mean, like it's the famous Spock quote, right? And I think it's really ironic. It's really ironic that people that are fans of Star Trek lean to utilitarianism and lean to this sort of thing, and they appear to be more apt to sacrifice one person if it means, continuing on for other things. Yo, Oni Lord Miki, thank you for the $10. It's kind of creepy how a person I once subscribed to had this question asked to them, and they had an interesting response. Look up Zinnia Jones, The Ethics of Killing Babies. It's exactly it too. I didn't want to get into the whole thing because there's a whole fucking section about that too. It's the ethics of farming babies for organs. And it's the ethical responsibility. It's the ethics of doctors, because utilitarianism, they move the goalposts a lot. They move, and thank you so much for that super chat, only Lord Miki. It's the ethics of a doctor as well, because the doctors take an oath to do no harm, right? But if you look at things like organ donation, a doctor has to cause harm in order to save lives. So then the question shifts from, well, is it really a doctor's responsibility to ethically perform by not causing harm, or is it their obligation to prevent death? So if 5 people need organs, and if the doctor doesn't perform the surgery, 5 people will die. But if the doctor harvests the organs needed from one person will die. So, but in doing so, the doctor's violating their do no harm oath, but they're saving 5 people. So this is consequentialism. This is a very, very interesting discussion on philosophy. I'm not going to have like a big discussion and debate about it today, but I wanted to bring this to people's attention. I think this is a very important thing that we need to take a look at. Why farm babies when we have overcrowded prisons? It's the same difference, though. The whole point, and the fact that you say that, Action Toys, brings up the exact point that I'm trying to make. Is it less so detrimental to ethics? Is it less ethical to take organs from a baby than it is to take organs from a fully grown human being? Right? It's easier for people to destroy a Vic Mignogna. It's easier for people to destroy a Quentin Flynn or a Chris Noth or a DC Douglas, right? It's easier for people to destroy people who have already lived their lives than it is to look at someone who has not done anything, who's barely started their life, and destroy that life. It's still destroying a life. It is still destroying a life. What is the ethical difference in it? Right? If you look at an infant and say, well, this infant has a birth defect, we may as well just not let it continue its life. Is that any different than letting someone live for 50 or 60 years and then decide, you know what? They were creepy one or too many times. Let's end their career. Let's end their life. So that's the question that I want you guys to ask yourselves, and I want you guys to look into and reflect on, because I think it's a very, very important question. And I think this plays into the whole cancel culture thing. For people out there who support cancel culture, I want you guys to think of this too. Because when you're out there going after people, actively trying to end their careers. Now, let me make this a very, very distinct point here. What I do on Twitter and on YouTube, I don't go out to destroy people. Okay? I'm not like a Monica Rial or a Ron Toye or an Esteban Pinto or an Amy Imhoff or a Zoe Quinn. I don't go out with intent to destroy people, whether it be career, life, love life, what have you. I don't do that. I go out with intent to mock and absurd and make it absurd, to shame Because when people are embarrassed, they tend to not do the same thing again. I will openly make fun of things that people do that is absurd. Most of the time, people send me things on Twitter, either via DMs or they quote tweet me or they at me on Twitter or some social media, and they say, look at this dumb thing. I'm like, wow, that's really freaking stupid. That's hilarious. I will laugh at it, I will mock it, and I will put it on display and say, hey, look at how dumb this thing is. And when things like injustices come up, where people are actively going around the system and trying to manipulate public, I will happily shine a light on that and clarify. And much like Nick Rekieta, I don't lie. I have receipts for everything I bring up. I have journalistic integrity. If someone comes to me with information and they want to be confidential, I will do everything I can. And if it means not reporting on it, then I don't report on it. I'm not here for clout. I'm not here to clout chase. I'm not here to clout chase. I will chase clowns. I don't chase clout. There's a difference. I don't go out there to make body counts. I go out there to point out hypocrisy. I go out there to mock idiocy. And if that offends you, then you need to look inward as to why it does. Because that's an internal problem. That's not my problem. That's what I want to say about that. If what I say bothers you, then you have to look at why that bothers you. Because if it's the truth, and if the truth bothers you, that says more about your character than it does about me. All right, let's take a look at the Chris Noth. So this was from the Hollywood Reporter. This was from the Hollywood Reporter here. So Chris Noth was accused of he was accused by, well, he was allegedly doing bad things by two separate women who, oddly enough, the Hollywood Reporter needed to clarify that they didn't know each other. Countdown begins to when it comes out that they actually did know each other. Exactly. Remember when we used to agree to disagree and we moved on? Yeah, no. Those days. So, I was reading this article. This was the article that this weirdo, let me find that thing again, that this weirdo was messaging me about. Not that one. This one. Yeah. This weirdo. When I reposted this article and I questioned it in the most basic respect. This asshole sent me this message. Hello, distract enemies. How you doing? Good to see you. So, note this story includes graphic descriptions of alleged sexual assaults. No, it doesn't actually. If the word penis is graphic, then I suppose it does, but there is no graphic description of what happened. There's no graphic description of what happened. There's graphic details about everything that, the backstory. And then it devolves into a Harlequin novel. Memory returns until it doesn't. And we'll get to that in a second here too. So Zoe now 40, and Lily, now 31. I'm guessing these are pseudonyms. These are not their actual names. It was the revival of the television series that made him such an iconic character that was triggering to 2 women. Yeah, the series, apparently after Sex and the City had its finale, the series just ceased to exist, right? It just got deleted from existence. And it was only the fact that it had a revival. It was only the fact that it had a revival that triggered these women, right? Because they couldn't just not watch the show. You're probably true. Distract enemies. Sex and the City was a terrible show. It still is. It still is, by the way. So they initially, bam, right off the bat. So great reporting here, Hollywood Reporter. Both allege they were sexually assaulted by actor Chris Noth. The 2 women who approached the Hollywood Reporter separately, months apart, this is curious, and who do not know each other. X2 doubt. This is a coordinated effort, clearly. They reached out separately, months apart. They don't know each other. Fucking bullshit. They don't. I can guarantee you there's going to be evidence that comes out that shows that they know each other. You're using fake names so no one can piece it together. I guarantee you they coordinated this. Said promotions and press reports of HBO Max's Sex and the City sequel series and Just Like That, in which Noth reprises his role as Mr. Big, stirred painful memories of the incidents that they say occurred in Los Angeles in 2004 and New York in 2015, respectively. Yeah, they're using pseudonyms. How do these journalists even become to be? Well, according to Dicker Daughter on Twitter here, Kim is the Einstein of reporting sexual assault. So there you go. Look up who Kim Masters is, buddy. Kim Masters is apparently the Einstein of reporting sexual assault. So it's good to know that Kim Masters is literally the spinster of article writing. If this is all she does and this is how she presents it, then she's 1000% someone that you should not listen to. 1000% someone you should not listen to about anything to do with reporting sexual assault. Well, you'll see what I mean, Don Wanderer. You'll see what I mean. Like already this fucking bullshit. Injecting opinion. How do you know they don't know each other? How do you know they don't know each other? Well, they told you they don't know each other? Bullshit. You're putting that in there to insert your own opinion into people who are reading this. Reporters don't do this, by the way. Journalists don't do this, by the way. They don't do stupid things like this in an article when they're reporting it. Report the facts. I'm going to take a page out of John Grissom's book here for a minute. I tend not to believe people because people lie. Evidence doesn't lie. So Lily, now a journalist, reached out to THR in August. I'm not sure how you go about this sort of story and how you find other victims, teehee. Doesn't this sound familiar? Oh, I've never made a hashtag before. And it just so happens that a second victim months later sent you another email, right? She still works in the entertainment industry and is fearful of repercussions if her identity were known. So she's still collecting names and she's still collecting stuff for the Whisper Network. But seeing that he was reprising his role in Sex and the City set something off in me. For so many years, I buried it. She decided it was time to try and go in public with who he is. Why? Why? Because he's back in the seat now? Because you just needed something? I wonder, yeah. We have the one staircase list. How many staircases are out there? Started after Noth's character was killed in the sequel show? Yes, it was, Tom. Yes, his character was killed off. So triggering that he's not going to be in the show anymore. Reporters who do stuff like this take simple social media search to see if they know each other, plus the guy could just be a mega dick and release their names and let people know. 100% true. I mean, it's going to come out. It's going to come out one way or the other, right? And then people will know that they're full of shit, and so is the Hollywood Reporter. If that's the case. Contacted for comment, Noth sent THR a statement. The accusations against me made by individuals I met years, even decades ago, are categorically false. The stories could have been from 30 years ago or 30 days ago. No always means no. That is a line I did not cross. The encounters were consensual. It's difficult not to question the timing of the stories not coming out. I don't know for certain why they are surfacing now, but I do know this: I did not assault these women. Perfect statement, by the way. Very, very good statement, Chris. Have a good one, Tom. Take care. There's not a fucking thing that anyone can peel out from this statement. This is perfect. Perfect. The encounters were consensual, which later on in this article we're going to find out they were. By the way, after graduating from college in 2004, Zoe, then 22. So now we can piece together, right? So she was 22 in 2004. How old is she now? What's that? 17 years later? So she's 39 now? I wonder why it's a problem now, right? I wonder why. Why is this a story if it's consensual? That's what I would like to know from the Hollywood Reporter. We're going to find out, though. We'll go down the list here. I'll be critical about this then. Moved to Los Angeles to work an entry-level job for a high-powered firm, blah, 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 blah. Noth and other celebrities had regularly had business. He would walk by my desk and flirt with me. He somehow got my number from the directory and was leaving messages on my work phone. Somehow he got my phone number. Uh-huh. And if it was such a problem, you would have told him, don't call me, don't contact me. Change my number. Somehow he got my phone number. I don't know how. I totally just didn't leave it out for him. No, I was just somehow he got my phone number. It's all about age, right? It's all about age, right? Because it's a 40-year-old flirting with a 22-year-old, right? My boss was like, Mr. Biggs leaving messages on your voicemail, she says. That now former boss tells THR she witnessed Noth talking to Zoe at her desk. Zoe also let her listen to some kind of flirty voicemails from him. The ex-boss says she thought it odd Noth, who was 49 at the time, had gotten Zoe's number and left those messages, but she didn't find it alarming. Wow. Wow. Oh, it's so weird, this 49-year-old celebrity who literally everyone wants to get in his pants at the time. Wow, I can't believe this 22-year-old is talking to him and not me. I don't find it alarming, though. Then why did you find it weird? You found it weird because you were jealous that he was talking to this attractive 22-year-old and not your flaccid cow ass. Huh. Didn't find it alarming, though. I bet that's going to come up. Didn't find it alarming. Even though he was leaving flirty voicemails, and he apparently found her phone number somehow magically and was leaving like sexy voicemails to her. This was peak Sex in the City, she says. He was like a god to us. He was like a god to us, huh? Okay. Yeah, I heard that too, Miguel. So he lived in New York at one point, but Zoe says he invited her to come to the pool at the building in West Hollywood where he had an apartment. Well, she had a friend who lived in the same building and had been to the pool often. So she's familiar with the building. Okay. Yeah, it's a crime to flirt, apparently. That August, she and her best friend from college who was visiting the East Coast excitedly went to the pool to meet Noth. So they willingly went to the pool to hang out with him. The visiting friend confirms going to the pool and sitting with Zoe and North in the jacuzzi. They were in a jacuzzi willfully, consensually with him. There's no forcing them. There's no gun to their head. Zoe says Noth asked her all sorts of questions about my major and where I studied. He had a book with him and told her to take a look because he was thinking of doing a project based on the material. Then, according to Zoe and her friend, he had to go to his apartment to take a call, but he left the book, asking Zoe to look through it and bring it back to his apartment. Zoe was flattered. He said, "I'd love to know what you think." I thought, "I'm new. He's asking my opinion. I've only been in Hollywood for 2 months, tee-hee." So literally, he's just being a nice guy. He's being a nice dude. Says, "Hey, I'm doing a project on the material. Let me know what you think about it." He seems like he's interested in the girl. She seems like she's interested in him. She seems like she's enamored with him, actually. When she went to his apartment to return the book, Zoe says he kissed her as she stepped through the door. She tentatively kissed back. Doesn't sound like that wasn't consensual. Doesn't sound to me like that wasn't consensual. Unless he vampire hypnotized her when she walked through the door. But Ben said, "Thank you, I'm going back to my friend." I'm sure you said that. I doubt that entirely. This sounds a lot like... what the heck? What's that thing where like you think things are better than they actually were? I can't remember the word. Revisionist history. There you go. This sounds a lot like revisionist history right here. The kiss itself didn't alarm her. Why? That would alarm literally anybody. Apparently, according to most people who make these Me Too allegations, this would constitute sexual assault. Right? Isn't this what Vic was accused of in that hotel room? You know, with the twins. Oh, he kissed both of us. We were frozen in fear. But this kiss didn't alarm her, apparently. Didn't alarm this person. So what is it? Are kisses terrifying? Or are they just normal? I mean, I would be concerned if I just I'm like, oh, hey, you left your Chinese takeout downstairs. I want to bring this back up to you. And then someone just grabs me and fucking Frenches me right there. That would alarm me. I don't recall. Hello, Power Keg Greg. Any plans to cover the trans swimmer that destroyed all the women in the divisions and broke records? I mean, I don't really talk about stuff like that. If there is a controversy behind it, maybe. But, I mean, good for them, I guess. I don't know. Good for them. Interesting how far the goalposts shift when convenient. Exactly. She thought, yeah, here we go. So she thought a kiss from Mr. Big would be a fun story to tell her friends. So there was no, oh, it caught me off guard. No, she did it intentionally. She did it intentionally. But she says he then pulled her towards him, moved her toward the bed, pulled off her shorts and bikini bottom, and began to do terrible things from behind. What? This literally sounds like a bad Harlequin romance novel. How do we go from like entirely detailed, like, oh, this particular book, and we were sitting in jacuzzis and we had people, it was like blah, 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 all these details, to just like pants came off and penis went in. Like, what? Mr. Big? No, it's Sex and the City, Power Keg Greg. Mr. Big was a character on Sex and the City. Monica's story, maybe. Like, seriously, Toy Man, they all fucking sound the same. They all fucking sound the same. Distract enemies. How do we go from this? There is no logical progression to this. There's no logical progression to this at all. Like, oh, we were having this fun conversation, and then he intentionally like forgot his book here, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to give him his book back. And then I went up, and then I opened the door, and then rape. What? What? There's no context. There's nothing. It sounds like a fucking Harlequin novel. Like, I could understand certain things. Yeah, I just tripped and this penis went in. So like, how? I don't know if anyone out there reading this has had sex before. Okay. Pants came off, penis went in, I'm dead. I don't know if anyone reading this article has literally ever had sex before, but going from a standing position to a prone position, and like, did he just not have any clothing on? So she was in her bikini, apparently, which I'm assuming she wasn't just walking around in her bikini. She had a towel or something. Or maybe she was just walking around in her bikini. Who knows? Was he just completely naked? Did he get dressed? Like, none of this is talked about here. And like, apparently she just flew onto the bed in a perfect position so that she was presenting and that he was on top of her before anything happened. I don't know if anyone out there reading this has ever had sex before. But this next part right here began to repay her from behind. When you're intending to do it from behind, there's usually, even with people that you're familiar with, it takes a bit of getting there, right? Let me play Dr. Ruth here for a minute. It takes a bit of getting there. You can't just like go in there, bite the pillow, right? It takes a second or two. At which point, I'm sure if she was struggling, that would be a lot more time. But no, we're talking like fucking Goku instant transmission, like, pew, damn, right in there. She was bent over on the bed, and then he immediately just, doom. The man was fucking ultra instinct on her ass in 2004. Makes no sense. There's no context behind any of this. You think they're implying that the time wasn't taken? Not sure. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no context behind any of it. It was very painful, and I yelled out, "Stop, Doubt." She says, and he didn't. I said, can you at least get a condom? That, I believe. I don't think you told him to stop. I do think that you asked him to get a condom. Or asked him if he had a condom. But if you're being repaid, why would that be a statement? Oh, you know, I know you're repaying me right now, but can you like at least get a condom so you can repay me? And he laughed at me. The only image I have in my mind is that fucking scene from Team America World Police where all the world leaders are laughing. Like, ha 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 ha. It's the only image I have in my mind. Literally a fucking movie villain. Yeah, if you went in dry, she wouldn't be able to form words or ask for a condom. She'd be in so much pain. Exactly. Repaying her with a wad of money. Very least for good measure. This article is giving you a headache. This is what I'm saying. This makes no sense. We go from logical progression to fucking like what? Like what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on here? So like they had rough sex. Just say it. Like sure. From everything that she's saying here, she went along with it. Damn it, Gary, this isn't about sex, this is about trust. I don't know why I put that voice to it, but that's pretty funny. Ken Masters is an aspiring author. So like this entire thing sounds like she went along with it and that she didn't say no. It's the worst fanfic you've ever heard. When it was over, she says, I realized there was blood on my shirt. You said you wore a bikini. Now you have a shirt? So she says that she was wearing a bikini when she went there. And now magically, somehow, during the rapé, she put a shirt on while he was ripping her open from the back end. Apparently. Sex scene's missing a couple of steps. The escalation described here is weird because it sure is feasible, but her reaction literally isn't. It doesn't line up with the narrative. That's what I'm saying. It just instantly fucking happened, apparently. Doesn't make any sense at all. Realized there was blood on my shirt. I got out of there. I went to my friend's apartment in the same building. The friend visiting from college was already there. I walked right in, went to the bathroom, and then tried to get the blood out of my shirt. They wanted to know what happened. I said, I just want to go home. The visiting friend pursued her, said, "You're scaring me." This has nothing to do with the allegation. This is included strictly to get the emotion out of the reader. It has nothing to do with the allegation. And notice how we go right back to incredible detail. So we started with incredible detail, right? We started with incredible detail. And then we had really, really fuzziness about what happened. And then we have incredible detail. Why is the fuzziness during the allegation? The shirt magically appeared. Exactly. You're starting to think she's never had sex, judging from this story. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, why is it such light? Like, why are we like having light mayonnaise on the details for like the actual meat and potatoes? Like, imagine having a burger where you have like the bottom bun, which is like incredibly robust and everything else like that. And then you have the burger, but instead of a burger, you just have a fucking sausage casing with water in it. And then you have the top bun, which is incredibly like 4K detailed. This is what we have here. Best sex line from a book ever. She suck me penis. She suck me my penis. That sounds like something you'd say in Ireland. Or Newfoundland. Newfoundland, definitely. Yes, bye. She sucked me my penis. Sounds like she wanted him to get her look in her eyes romance, and she got mad because she got smashed. Yeah, she did. She wanted a romantic experience with Mr. Big, and she just got the Drexel treatment. So, like, again, this is included just to get the emotion out of the reader. This literally has nothing at all to do with the actual encounter. And the fact that there's more detail in this than there was the actual encounter. When she, like, pauses... She apparently paused the rapé scene. Can you at least get a condom? None of this makes fucking sense whatsoever. There is so much missing detail in the actual action that causes me to pause for a second and say, hold on a minute. She asked for Mr. Big, and that's what she got. Detect false advertising. That friend, now a child psychologist in Boston. Yeah, let's not name them at all, but let's give them so many fucking details, because how many child psychologists are in Boston that can be placed in Los Angeles at that specific time? Like, you're literally giving the internet so much fucking details to find this person. So they could quite literally find out who this person is that's talking. Good job. Good job, Hollywood Reporter. You do so much. You do so well. They're a child psychologist, right? They're a child psychologist in Boston now, so that means that they have authority to talk on this, which they don't, by the way. You're no biology expert, but how would blood get on her shirt if she was on the bed when it was happening from behind? You got me, Bloomy. You got me. No idea. I'm guessing he like mushroom slapped her or something and she like got a bleeding nose. I don't know. He just like maybe he just gave her a pap smear with his penis. I have no fucking idea. No idea. That friend, now a child psychologist in Boston, tells THR that Zoe was strikingly different when she returned from Noth's apartment. She went right into the powder room. That's the bathroom, by the way. That's the bathroom. So again, yes, she went straight to the bathroom. When she came out, she was very aloof, kind of cool. She's a very gregarious, sweet, friendly person. It was a very weird change. Have you literally never seen someone after they just had sex? Like this just strikes me of people that have literally never had sex before. Have you never seen what someone acts like after they've had sex? Came into her apartment, he left bloodstains on the t-shirt. The only thing I could think of is maybe the shirt was underfoot while it was going on, but that would have been mentioned. It's what I'm saying. Like that never mentioned that he ripped her shirt off. Gladys McCoy, I have no idea what that is. This is not the first time that you've posted that, I think. I've seen that tech thing. I don't know what the tech thing is. Whatever it is, please. Please speak the English. Don't speak of the bot speak. Yeah. We're just gonna quickly. I'm just gonna quickly do that. I don't know what you are, and I'm pretty sure you're not actually a person. It is bot speak? Okay. Would never rip a shirt off because shirts cost money and you're too cheap to buy a woman a shirt. Is this a rejected movie script? Quite literally, he was talking to her in a hot tub about some sort of script idea. This is what Einstein level of reporting looks like, though. Yeah. It's like Kim Cattrall fucking wrote this herself for an episode. So, like, yeah, getting back to this, it looks like this person's literally never spoke to someone who's had sex before. Or right after they've had sex. Just very aloof. Oh, seemed kind of cool. Yeah, because she just had sex. She asked what happened, but Zoe coldly said she wasn't going to talk about her personal life. Why? Why? Did something happen that was disappointing? Did you maybe ask him to be your boyfriend and he turned you down? Is that why? Is that why it was all of a sudden no longer a consensual situation after you asked him to go steady and he said, no, you're just a fast lay? He turned you down? Is that what happened? It was not like her, the friend says. We left. Riding the elevator was awkward. She wouldn't talk. She wouldn't make eye contact. When we got in the car, I started pressing her, like a good friend does, right? When a friend tells you, I don't want to talk about my personal life, and you just keep pressing and pressing. It's what a good friend does, right? What disappointed was that she came before he did. You have to tell me what happened. Something's wrong. I don't remember the words that she said. Then how do you remember what you said to her? You don't remember what she said. How, it's convenient that your memory works one direction. I'm taking you to the hospital. So yeah, here we go with the story. So my guess is that they had consensual sex, and she was expecting that meant that they were in a relationship, and he was like, no, sorry, I don't date. He literally just Drexeled her, and now she's pissed off and vengeful. They went to Cedars-Sinai, where Zoe told staff she had been assaulted. This is an assertion by the author. I had stitches. 2 police officers came. I wouldn't say who it was. So they're not. Curiously enough, Zoe is not saying that she was assaulted. The author of the article is saying that she is assaulted. Her quote was, I had stitches. 2 police officers came. I wouldn't say who it was. This could have been literally anything. She went to the hospital to get stitches, and the hospital assumed that, like, I guess standard practice would be to call in for a rape kit or something like that because of a violent thing, and she was acting, and she wasn't saying who it was, and blah blah blah. So it's like, yeah, you had violent sex, but did you say that you were assaulted, or is this reporter just putting words in your mouth because you're not actually being quoted as saying it? Einstein of reporting, by the way. Einstein of reporting. You could just quote where Zoe said that she told the hospital she was assaulted, because you had no problem quoting this. So why didn't you quote this? Or was it that she just told the hospital that she had an injury, and it wasn't actually that she reported a sexual assault? Yeah, she talked to the cops so we can read the report. Exactly. You're not sure on drugs, but this is the type of story you would write on drugs. She said, Zoe says she feared that she would not be believed, and she felt that she would be fired if she accused him publicly, even at her workplace. Quote her saying it. Fucking stop saying it for her. Quote her. Quote her, Einstein of reporting. At the hospital. Like, again, you quote her in the very next fucking paragraph. They gave me a crisis counseling brochure and some medicine. That doesn't sound like they did a rape kit on you. Or even that they offered to do a rape kit on you. Contacted by THR, Cedars told THR they do not keep records dating back to 2004. How convenient. How convenient. This happened in 2004. Exactly. She didn't even declare anything. According to Zoe's former boss, Zoe called her later that day and told her Noth had attacked her. Zoe doesn't remember making that call. Get your fucking story straight before you tell it. Get your story straight before you're telling it. I was driving behind where Soho House is now. And again, exactly, like, so much fucking detail, right? So much fucking detail in these. And I think I stopped and pulled over because it was so horrible. So much detail. You doubt it because they have reports from 1979? Yep. She was very upset, kind of in shock. I was in shock. Then how did you remember anything? If you're in shock, you wouldn't remember this. If you were in shock, you wouldn't have memory. That's what shock is. But at Zoe's request, she did not disclose the attack to anyone. I was 25 at the time. It was a lot. I didn't know what to do. Go to the police. Go to the police. You were her boss, and you failed to report a sexual assault that your employee had with a client. That makes you vicariously liable. You go to the police. If it actually happened. Which Zoe says the call never happened, so I doubt all of this was happening. I mean, way to go to admitting that you actually covered up. Yeah, this is coming from her boss. Like, way to go to admit that you committed a crime. Zoe says that she started having nightmares and flashbacks. She was finding it hard to concentrate at work, and her appetite was poor. 2 years later, in January 2006, again, doesn't say 2 years later, but hey, whatever. She sought counseling at the UCLA Rapé Crisis Center. Why 2 years later? I had buried it as long as I could, and I really wasn't doing well, and finally went to the treatment the ER had recommended. 2 years later. I'm sure your vag had healed by then. And I'm sure that you had sex with many, many individuals since. Without addressing the details of Zoe's situation specifically, Julie Banks, clinical director at the Rapé Treatment Center, confirms the facility treated her, says it's not uncommon for survivors to put off seeking treatment. Everyone said she was assaulted but her. I have heard this story before. Yep. Why are we listening to the ex-boss when she wasn't there and it sounds like she was upset she didn't get repaid from behind? Exactly. She was 25, and this 22-year-old got the biggest fucking name in the entertainment industry at the time. So yeah, she was definitely pissed off that it wasn't her. Exactly. Your job's required to report that shit, and if they don't, they fail you. So congratulations. Zoe was counseled for several months, and then Zoe says for so many years she tried to bury the memory again. But why? Why? More recently, the need to reveal the alleged assault grew. Why? This shit makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Soon after the alleged rapé, Zoe had confided in her mother, who consoled her and said that she had also been a rapé victim. In 2018, okay, so again, when did she confide in her mother? And why is this a detail that you leave after all of it? So clearly, this did not happen until much later. Because there's no date associated with it. There's no time frame associated with it. This happened much later than what they're framing it as. Her rent came due and she needed money. The boss was definitely a fat, absolutely. In 2018, Zoe's mother was diagnosed with cancer. She was assaulted by cancer. As she was dying, she was haunted by her assault. What? I'm pretty sure that she was haunted by the fact she had cancer. Just a tiny bit more. Zoe says, I don't want to be in the same position where I'm haunted at the end of my life. Well, clearly you can't get over it, and you haven't gotten over it in fucking 20 years. So yeah, you're going to hold on to it forever. Absolutely sensationalist trash. Absolutely sensationalist trash. So that's the end of Zoe's story, by the way. Again, all of this shit is just to get the sympathy of the reader. It has absolutely fuck all to do with the assault. 99% of this has fuck all to do with the assault. It was literally like 1% encountering the assault, which is a completely fictional story, in my opinion. I would be more haunted by having cancer than sexual assault too. Honestly. When I'm on my deathbed, I can guarantee you probably the most fleeting, far-off thing in my mind is going to be the time that I was sexually assaulted. I'm probably not going to think about that when I'm dying. The prominent thought in my mind when I am on my deathbed is, I'm going to fucking die. I mean, that's probably what I'm going to be thinking about. I'm going to think about all my accomplishments in life. When I guess if your only accomplishment in life is getting rammed by Mr. Big, then I guess that's what you're going to think about. Got you emotional because you're crying at how stupid this story is. Now we move on to Lily. This one's even better, folks. I literally couldn't make it past one of the fucking parts that are coming up, and you're going to see. Exactly. You lost your mother to cancer and she was more focused on you and your siblings being okay without her. Exactly. Like the fact that she's like imprinting her own fucking bullshit onto her mother. Like, no, her mother wasn't worried about a fucking sexual assault that happened 80 fucking years ago. Yeah, you never heard Dad from the story? Exactly, Awig. She was only talking, yeah, she was only thinking about herself. She wasn't even thinking about her fucking mom dying. You're driving home now listening in? Thank you, Ragnarok Knight. She wasn't even thinking about her mom dying. She was thinking about herself and her own projections onto her mother. Your mom wasn't thinking about... Yeah, your mom didn't... I can guarantee you, your mom wasn't thinking about herself on her deathbed. Rarely people do. They think about everyone else. Because like, what are you going to do? You're dying. That's it. Time to be selfless at that point. It goes to show you exactly how much the Zoe fucking cared about her mom. Cared about her mom so much, she's implanting her own fucking insecurities on her. Lily was a server in the VIP section of the now shuttered New York nightclub number 8 in 2015 when she met Noth. She'd been a fan since he starred in Law & Order, and of course she knew him from Sex and the City. I was truly starstruck, she says. He was hitting on me for sure. I was flattered. I knew he was married, which was shameful for me to admit. So again, Jesus Christ. Why is it always the fucking same? Oh, I knew he was married, tee-hee. She was 25 and he was 60. So again, now she's in her 30s. Now it's time to collect clout. Noth got her number and asked her out. I was like, that's crazy. Mr. Big's asking me out for dinner. What do you think he wanted? He's a married guy. What do you think he wanted? A fucking cannoli? Like, come on. And he asked me to meet him at Il Cantarone, which, as a fan of the show, Lily knew had been the setting for a Sex and the City episode. Carrie Bradshaw throws her 35th birthday party there. Lily's friend Alex, who has known her since high school and also living in, says she advised her not to go out with Noth. I'm sure. Now the bloom has gotten off the rose. She's trading lies for clout. Exactly, James Andrew Morrison. As soon as that fucking egg timer, as soon as the egg timer tings, I just didn't have a great feeling about it. He says, she was like, no, I think he'll be nice about it. He was nice and respectful when I met him at the club. It's just dinner, but I've always been the mom to everyone. Also, when you're in it, you don't see the red flags. Fucking bullshit. It's not just dinner. A married man is taking out a younger woman, presumably attractive. It's not just dinner, and you know it. Stop lying. Stop lying. You went out with him for more than just dinner too, because you wanted to say that you slept with the dude that you've been idolizing. Shut up. Lily thought the fact that he invited her to dinner showed some interest in getting to know her. Here it is. Yeah, here it is. Who had wanted him to leave his wife for her and he denied for $500? Who had that? I knew he was married. He was 60, even though I was 16, even though I was 29 in 2010. He invited me to a restaurant. I accepted and got shocked because he shaked my hand. At that point, I was assaulted. Pants came off. Penis went in. Can't believe they would claim this level of ignorance. That's bold. Yeah, he wanted to know her biblically, exactly. But when she arrived, at the time he had set, the kitchen had closed. What the fuck time did he ask her to show up? 11 o'clock? Okay, let's... I'm sure that you could probably find this out somewhere. I'm sure you could pinpoint exactly what time he invited her to dinner, okay? Oh, do you want to go for dinner? Why, yes, that would be wonderful. I would love to go for dinner. What time shall I meet you there? Meet me at 11:30 p.m. Oh boy, that sure is late, but I'm sure they'll still have dinner on the... I'm sure they'll still be serving dinner. Okay. No, this was in 2015. COVID didn't exist, even though it did. This is what I mean. It's like, he's asking you to quote unquote dinner at like fucking ungodly time at night. Oh, it's just dinner. Jesus Christ. They had wine at the bar as Noth talked about his disinclination to appear in a third Sex and the City movie, the project that was finally shelved in 2017. He asked me a lot about my job and my trajectory. She told him she was working on a career in journalism. Well, there's a mistake. Journalism doesn't pay. Sensationalism pays. Journalism does not. Narcissistic people always do this, though. They think no one can see through their smokescreen. Absolutely agree, Ellie. As the evening wore on, she says she had too much to drink, though she was nowhere near blacking out. So she's a whinerd if she's had too much to drink, but she knows exactly her blackout point. And already admitting that, you know, you didn't drink yourself to a point where you were not aware. So you were aware of all of this happening. So you can't use that, oh, I was too drunk to understand. Okay. And she says her fan worship of Noth was such as she almost felt she was having an out-of-body experience just being on the date. So you know it was a date. And isn't it weird about this fan idolization thing? Oh, it was my fan worship. I was drunk on fan worship. With the restaurant closing, so yeah, they were definitely there like until fucking 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. He told her his apartment was just around the corner. He had owned a Greenwich Village apartment since 1994. He had a collection of whiskeys that they could sample. I was not super sexually active. X to doubt. Not wild and crazy. Oh, I wasn't really, like, sexually active. I just totally just went out with a random actor and agreed to stay over at his house. I'm just not sexually active, though. Uh-huh. Sure. Not wild and crazy, even though I have a drinking tolerance. Kitchen closed at dinner. That should have been a red flag. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I'm saying, Stacey. He likely invited her out at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and they get there, and it was not for dinner. It was for drinks, and it was for after drinks tomfoolery. She's conveniently leaving out the time of day that they were she was invited for a reason, by the way. So Lily says now she finds it humiliating to admit that she didn't think that he would try to sleep with her. You probably tried to sleep with him. You went for the explicit purpose. Why would you go out with a man who is married at 10 o'clock at night and drink alcohol to the point where you know you're not going to black out, but you want to keep your wits about you, and then agree to go to his house at 2 o'clock in the morning? What do you fucking think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? You're fucking lying. You are a liar. Don't lie. Don't lie about it. Just tell the truth. There's no shame in going out and having a one-night stand with somebody. You're lying about how sexual you are. You're lying about how wild and crazy you are. You're lying about this too. Nobody fucking cares how much of a fucking slut you are. Nobody cares. Yeah, they're just going to play patty cake, exactly. They're just going to play patty cake. I thought, we're going to drink whiskey and talk about his acting career and then watch Sesame Street. It sounds so stupid. It sounds so stupid because it is stupid, because you know it's a lie. You knew you were going to go there and you're going to get some dick. Sorry, but you knew it was going to happen. Exactly. Chaste people don't act like this. This next part is where I had to stop fucking reading this. After this paragraph, I had to fucking stop because my brain literally fell out the back of my fucking head. The apartment was an amazing place. We were listening to music. He had all these books about art and fashion. He tried to make out with me. I cautiously entertained it. So in both stories, they said, they fully fucking admit, in both stories, they consented. In both stories. I kissed him back. I entertained it. If you don't want the sexy thing to happen, then all you have to do is... You don't even have to say anything. Where was his wife and kids? Probably at his actual house somewhere else. Real question is, what brand of whiskey? Exactly. I got some good whiskey. I have some Wisers for next week. Next week I'm going to be doing a Christmas special. I have Highland Park 18. Yeah, Highland Park 18. And I have Wisers because I'm only going to take one glass of Highland Park, because after that it's a waste. after one glass, it's a waste because you're not going to taste it. But yeah, next week I'm gonna have Highland Park 18, and I have I picked up some JP Weiser's special blended for my streams next week. She isn't sexually active, then I'm still a virgin. He's older and looked older. Oh yeah, so now we have to attack his. Now we have to attack him, right? Because he made us feel. Because he made her feel inadequate, right? She's 25 and she's attractive, right? She's doing him a favor by going out with him, right? She's doing him a favor by going out with him. But he's old and he looks old. So I just made out with him to like appease him, like the poor little dog that he is. He kept trying and trying, and I should have said more firmly. I should have said no more firmly and left. You should have said no at all, or at least pushed away, or do anything. So like, yeah, notice how all the details are here, right? Notice all the details that were leading up to the story here. All these like really, really tight details. Oh, it was in the Greenwich apartment. He was doing this. He was doing that. Oh my God, he had books on the shelves. They were about art and this and that and everything else like that. Blah 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 blah. And like oh, you know, all this stuff. And this is what I said to him, and this is what he said to me, and this is what we did. And then the next thing I knew, he pulled his pants down and was standing in front of me, and he put his penis in my mouth. What? What? Excuse me? He just Goku instant transmissioned again. They went from making out on a couch to instantly, boom, instantly, penis in mouth, bang. He moved so fast, all the fucking windows in the entire place shattered because he broke the fucking sound barrier from how fast he got off the couch to how fast he jammed his fucking ramrod into her fucking tonsils. Her corneas exploded from the pressure. Jesus Christ, dude. The next thing I knew, there's a lot of fucking story missing there. He pulled down his pants and was standing in front of me. He thrust his penis into her mouth, she says. Exactly, the penis in is his strongest move. That's his ultimate. It literally like cracks pavement. When I had to stop reading it initially. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Lily says she brought up that he was married with children. When did you bring that up? Like literally, did you just say, When did you bring that up? Before or after he brushed your teeth with his penis? Did she entertain the object in her mouth? He said marriage is a sham, monogamy is not real. Did she not watch the show? Did she not watch Sex and the City? Please tell me these are trolls, because this is too real to be reading. This is 100%. They're being honest as you can be on the internet. And the Hollywood Reporter, the Einstein of sexual assault reporting, wrote this article as seriously as she could, apparently. The next thing she knew, he was having sex with me from the back in a chair. So we've gone from penis and mouth and her pleading him with with his balls slapping her chin. But you're married. To instantly, she's turned around, taken it from the back on the chair. What the fuck is this story? How can anyone literally put this on print and call this journalism? Hollywood Reporter must have hired Russell Greer to pose as a woman because none of this makes sense. We were in front of a mirror. I was kind of crying as it happened. I'm sure you were crying. I'm sure you were crying. When it was over, like, this is the most nonsensical fucking story. Like, even pornos have better fucking storylines than this. When it was over, she says, I went to the bathroom and put on my skirt. I was feeling awful, totally violated. All of my dreams with this star I loved for years were gone. The article is disturbingly graphic and even traumatizing to read. This reporter should get in trouble. Literally, I'm more shocked in how the editors let this get published with all these mistakes. That's what I'm saying. If they're being honest, I'm leaving this planet. I went to the bathroom and put on my skirt and felt totally violated. So she, again, yeah, she had dreams. All of my dreams with this star I loved for years were gone. Likely because he would not carry a relationship and leave his wife for her. She called an Uber. Revisiting this brings her to tears, yet she says she still finds it freeing to tell the story. Because she gets sympathy points. It's freeing because she gets sympathy pats. Lily's friend Alex says she called from the car. She was pretty hysterical. Lily told her that he had been pretty forcibly had sex with her. And Alex said they should call the police. But Lily wouldn't hear of it. Lily says she doesn't remember making the call. Convenient! Convenient that there are two people in this story that are alleged friends or colleagues, right? So you have one friend and one boss that both got a hysterical phone call from the person that conveniently neither of the person that had the encounter remember making the phone call. Copy and paste. It had to have been in the yada yada part, Stacy. We were kissing on the couch, and then next thing you know, yada yada yada. Was putting my skirt on after and crying in the bathroom. And why would you take your skirt off if you're being repaid? I mean, so we have literally copy and paste encounters that include testimony from 4 people that allegedly don't know each other, but the stories are exactly the same, that were quote unquote months apart. I have no idea how you could find other victims. But magically the exact same story comes from somebody who allegedly doesn't know this other person. Yeah, okay. By the next day, Alex said Lily has started trying to minimize the incident. I'm overreacting, just forget it. But Alex says she listened to a voicemail that Natha left on Lily's phone. It was, Hey, hope you didn't take anything wrong last night. We just had fun. Just want to make sure that you didn't take it the wrong way. Exactly as it was. I don't want a relationship with you. I just want to have sex. After they had sex, my dreams are broken. I have been repaid. Terrible, horrible. I know a guy who knows a guy who knows another guy who knows a guy who claims X. Exactly. I remember calling my mom and the police after my father assaulted me. Yep. This is what I'm saying. Like, two people to say, oh, I didn't make a phone call. I didn't remember a phone call. Makes no sense. None of this makes sense. There's so many holes in these stories. To Alex, it seemed very much like, I know I did something bad, but I'm trying to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal. You weren't even there, dude. Your opinion is valueless. Lily remembers that message a bit differently. He left, and again, yes, Lily, the person who actually had the voicemail, remembers the message differently because Alex is a fucking lying. See you next Tuesday. He left a voicemail saying, I had a nice time and would be really appreciated if you wouldn't talk to your girlfriends. If we could keep this between you and me, that'd be great. So again, if your friend Alex heard this voicemail, that's what Alex would say, but you can't keep your fucking story straight. This is why it's a fucking lie. Because this would be much more damaging if it came from Alex. Much more damaging if it came from Alex. But you both had separate stories, so I don't believe either of you. THR reviewed the text Noth and Lily exchanged in March and in April 2. Hold on. Let's scroll back up here a minute. (2015). Okay. Notice how they don't say what month they went out for dinner. Notice they don't say what month they went out for dinner. Because later on, they talk about text messages in March and April. If the incident happened in March, then why was she still texting him in April? And why aren't you saying which is which here, Hollywood Reporter, Einstein of sexual assault reporting? You've been such an arbiter of fact the entire time here. Clearly, you have access to the dates of you have the access to the text messages. You have access to the dates of the text messages because you say they were exchanged in March and April. Why don't you tell us when this specific message was sent? Why don't you tell us the date of when this happened? Doesn't fit the narrative, does it? By the way, I have to ask, did you enjoy our night last night? I thought it was a lot of fun, but I wasn't quite sure how you felt. Lily replied, I certainly enjoyed your company. Great conversation. Not to go into specifics over text message, but I did feel slightly used. Perhaps this is better a phone conversation, but I can't talk at the moment. Sounds a lot like someone that was repaid, right? Really sounds like a conversation that someone had had sexual encounters against their will, and definitely not, absolutely not someone who was just bitter because they wanted a relationship and just got smashed. Noth mentioned hoping meeting again for dinner and drinks. Lily continued to respond in a friendly but non-committal way. At one point, she agreed to dinner, then canceled. She continued to put him off, and they never met again. That's, clearly how everyone interacts with someone who violently assaulted them. You're just cordial with them the entire time. If you do want to have a drink later, it doesn't have to be at my place, although I have the best whiskey, he wrote in one exchange. Come have a drink with me before I leave town. Oh, mysterious one, where did you go? Again, you're not posting the entire conversation. You're posting what you think will look bad. And that's a problem. That's a problem for you, Hollywood Reporter. Because it makes your article look like a pile of garbage. You did a lot of research and you did a lot to really put out a negative narrative, and you left out a lot of fucking detail. And that, as a reader, as a journalist myself, I can tell you're being dishonest. The intentional omission of context is glaringly obvious. Exactly. I can tell that you're being dishonest. All right. I can't believe that anyone out there is defending this piece of trash article. Actually, unironically defending it. You believe Jesse Smollett? There is so much. The stories are pretty much identical in how the penis entered the body. They have so much detail about what happened before and so much detail about what happened after, but what happened during, apparently he fucking rammed them so hard he tickled their fucking brain. But in both scenarios, it appears he was non-committal on a relationship, and that pissed them off. And they decided, after they had already consented with him, they decided after the fact that it was non-consensual. Which is why both of those situations are bullshit. I wanted to review and talk about that a little bit. My God, folks, it has been 3 hours that I have yammered on. I wanted to give you guys an update. So we're looking at January. Yeah, buyer's remorse, exactly. Dicker's remorse. We're looking at January. We're going to have a big brain panel. A convention brain panel. I'm going to have Stan Dallin. I'm going to have Seffi. I'm going to have Sam Flynn. And I'm going to try to see if there's any other convention owners and convention runners that want to jump in on this. We're going to talk about the convention mafia. We're going to talk about the convention mafia, big brains. And we're going to talk about we run conventions and we run anime conventions. And I have some very, very interesting screen caps. I was supposed to get some. I have some very, very interesting screen caps from Stan to share, which we'll talk all about that. Blight Blazer. I was supposed to go home. Gosh, crumb. Not allowed, Blight Blazer. we have some very interesting screen caps that will show the names of people and the individuals that are associated with conventions that have been encouraging people to attack the GoFundMe for Vic Mignogna, that have been encouraging people to report people who have been supporting, such as reporting Nick Rekieta's Twitter, reporting Nick Rekieta's YouTube, and encouraging people to attack and report those. We have it all. We have all the receipts. We're gonna break that down. How do we get Mr. Big from behind in these these screen caps? Oh my God. So we're gonna talk all about that on a panel of convention owners and runners and executives. We're going to pull that together and we're going to talk a lot about that sometime in January, hopefully first or second show of January. I will let you guys know. I just need to get everyone's availability, and I need to do some background checks on some individuals that we're going to talk about, so I can speak to their backgrounds and what level of degree of convention running ship and whatever else that they have. So, but yeah, you'll see some familiar faces and some you'll see some familiar names. You'll see some names that you don't know, that you haven't heard of before. So it's gonna be very, very interesting. So tune into that. Next week, it's Christmas, folks. Next week, it's Christmas. So I don't really have anything doing for Christmas. I am off. So next week, my schedule is really, really weird because I'm off Monday. I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I'll be streaming on YouTube probably Friday and Saturday, depending. I'm boxing. I'll definitely be doing a show on Saturday. I don't know about Friday. We'll see. But you didn't get me anything? Don't worry about it, Blazer. You being here is a gift in itself. You being here is a gift in itself. So I know, folks, you probably have Christmas plans, but that is okay. Melakaliki Maka is a wise way to say Merry Christmas to you. It's like my favorite song. But we'll be celebrating because I'm probably gonna cook Christmas dinner. I have a turkey to cook. If it's thawed out by Thursday, I'll cook it on like Thursday night into Thursday morning. But I'll probably be cooking it on Friday and then having like fucking turkey related shit for the rest of my life. But I have a really huge turkey and I'm gonna be cooking it. So I don't know. I might do what I might end up doing. I might end up doing a cooking stream. I have no idea how to do that. So if I end up doing it, that'll probably be on Twitch. I'll probably do it on Twitch. I don't know. If I can figure out how to get that set up. If not, then you'll be sad and you'll just have to see the finished product. But Saturday though, I will have a show because I don't really do anything for Christmas anyways. I'm a filthy heathen, so I will probably have a show. I'll probably be making it a call-in special. So if people want to call in and join the show and just hang out, because if you because of this COVID nonsense, invite Rekieta so he can burn the roux. If you want to call in because either COVID is taking away your ability to spend time with family and y'all are alone, you can call in for that. You can call in if you celebrate Hanukkah or you don't celebrate Christmas and you don't actually have anything to do on that day. The pagan solstice. You missed the solstice. It's Yule's coming up soon though. Yule's coming up on Monday. So I'll be celebrating the hunt. I'll be hunting clowns on Twitter. But yeah. No, that's Yule. Yeah. Yule is starting on the 21st. The solstice was earlier, wasn't it? Winter solstice? Or am I thinking am I thinking the equinox? Am I thinking the equinox? Oh, okay, yeah. So it is the... All right, yeah. I'm off on Monday. December 21st. Yeah, December 21st. I'm off on Monday, so I'll probably be either... Like, I'll likely be on Twitch. Papega megaphone! But yeah, if anyone's not doing anything for Christmas and you guys want a place to hang out, I'm going to have a place for you to hang out on Christmas. Don't worry. That's what I'll say. That's what I've been trying to say. And yes, Phoenix, I definitely will celebrate it with you. I definitely will. I must be thinking of the equinox. Yeah, I could probably do solstice tarot readings actually. That's a very good idea. It's a very, very good idea. I'll probably be on Twitch most of the day. Pagan? What's a pagan? Yeah, I could probably do tarot readings. Colon show is a go then, confirmed. Also check Discord. I will. You'll send me a tip. Thank you. You're gonna get your Agretsuko plushie. I might wear my shirt, an Agretsuko shirt. But yeah, so I'll probably will do that then. I'll probably hop on YouTube. I will let you know, Phoenix. I'll probably cover. Yeah, I'll probably do the tarot card reading on Monday then. I don't know how long it'll be, because I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But pagan iPhone is trolling you. Filthy Christian iPhones. But yeah, I'm just kidding. So I'll probably do something on Monday on YouTube and then Twitch afterwards. I'll be doing Twitch later today too. I just have to grab food. And then, if you aren't already following me on Twitch and you guys want to follow my gaming stuff, twitch.tv/Crumbrion. You're trying to type pagan and switch to pecan. And then somehow pagan. You can follow me on Twitch you can sub to me on Twitch or whatever else. If you have Twitch Prime, you can get into the Discord. $5 a month on Patreon, $5 a month on Twitch, or $5 a month on YouTube here if you hit the join button. I would suggest Twitch because it has a bunch of really cool emotes that you can use on Twitch, all over Twitch. So that's the best value in my opinion. Gets you access to the Discord, gets you access to this community, and all of that fun stuff. Gonna do Twitch in Christmas Eve. Yeah, I'll be on Twitch pretty much any time that I'm not on YouTube. I'm gonna try to not sleep the day away on Friday, as I have a really bad habit of sleeping in on my days off, just because my bed's so fucking comfy. But I'm off on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, so 5 days. So I'll likely be on Twitch for most of that. I'll be on YouTube on Saturday and YouTube on Monday. This coming Monday, actually, 21st. This coming Monday, I'll be on YouTube, and we'll do some tarot card readings. Only twitching you're doing is from lack of eggnog. Womp womp. You guys haven't seen my cool emotes though. Birthday distract enemies. Let's go. Happy birthday. Happy fucking birthday. But that's the plan. Oh. Well, we're dropping. Mini F. I don't know why we dropped to 0 for a minute. But yeah, so that's the plan for the next week or so. So be sure to stick around for those. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel as well if you have not already. Be sure to do all that fun stuff. Happy birthday, Pickle. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. This has been a blast as always. We don't have anything else. We're just going to chill. I'll be on Twitch a little bit later today. So be sure to check me out there. Until next time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. This has been another wonderful Canuckleheads. Till next time, keep your stick on the ice. Bye-bye.